Stacking tiered cakes does not have to be that hard. Let me show you how I do it. I start by making sure that my cake is cold and I mark out where the tier is going to sit on top of it. And then I cut out some bubble cheese straws to the height of the cake. And it's really important that they're all the same height. Now, as far as how many I add, I try to add the same number of straws as the size of cake that's going on top. So for example, this is an 8-inch cake and a 6-inch is going on top of it. So I'm adding 6 bubble tea straws. It's a 3-tiered cake, so the 6-inch tier is gonna have a 4-inch cake on top of it. So I'll put 4 bubble straws in the 6-inch. So I hope that makes sense. It just seems to give the most amount of support. Next, I add some buttercream, and again, working with cold cake, I lift the 6-inch and place it on top, and I just kind of use my hands, since the buttercream is cold, to kind of reposition the cake where I want it, make sure everything's nice and level, and then I'm ready to add the 4-inch. Now I've already put the bubble straws in my 6-inch, so I didn't record that twice. And then I'd use the same process to add the 4-inch on top, kind of positioned it how I wanted it, and then made sure it was facing the right way. There weren't any imperfections on the front, everything like that. Next, we're going to add our central dowel, and I prefer to add mine after the cakes are assembled. So I'll just cut the dowel slightly shorter than the height of the cake, and you'll see I just kind of stab it through. I did have to kind of readjust to make sure it was perfectly straight up and down, and then you just stab it through both the cake boards until it locks in to the bottom cake drum. You do have to use a little bit of muscles, but it'll work, I promise. And lastly, I'm just gonna go around and fill the seams between the tiers with some buttercream and smooth it out with a palette knife and a bench scraper. If I were adding like a border or something like pearls or piping, I wouldn't do this, but this is a completely clean iced cake with just a couple flowers on it, so it's got to be pretty clean. And that's it. I use this method to stack all of my tiered cakes. The only difference, if I'm doing a really big tiered cake, I'll use plastic rods instead of straws. Hope this helps, and here's a picture of the cake all set up at the venue.